Filmed in the town of Wallace, Idaho. The setting for a small town with a very active volcano. But Paul says, Harry, don't worry, this thing won't blow. We don't need to alert the town yet. But then skies start getting dark. Ash and volcanic rocks come from above. And if you close your eyes, you won't see that the whole town is being ripped asunder. No, you won't. You won't see that your loved ones are being destroyed by a magma flow. You can try to be an optimist about this. You can try to be an optimist about this. But if you close your eyes, all you will get is a lot of lava eating you alive. If you just close your eyes. Dante's Peak was directed by Roger Donaldson, who directed Cocktail, Species, 13 Days, The Recruit, The November Man. The November Man starred Pierce Brosnan. And Pierce Brosnan is also in this. This came out in 1997, so about 25 years ago. I think 25 years and change. This came out sometime in February. It was one of two movies about an active volcano. This one was a little more realistic. It was still batshit insane in the second half, but this was certainly more realistic than Volcano. They had Tommy Lee Jones and Haysh and a lot of ridiculousness. Holy shit, they had a lot of ridiculousness. That being said, this movie actually holds up pretty goddamn well as far as special effects and nice pacing, even if it, again, gets really batshit in the second half. And I had to do a variation of Pompey's Pompey's song, because why the hell not? Or Bastille's song, Pompeii. I'm sorry, I just mispronounced that and totally butchered it. Anyway, why not talk about something in reference to Pompeii, since they reference Pompeii and how Pompeii flattened the city because nobody thought the mountain could possibly blow. So if you dive a little bit more into the making of this movie, they use shots of Mount St. Helens. And since I live in Washington State, Mount St. Helens is a little infamous because it blew in 1980. And it possibly could blow again anytime soon because Mother Nature's a little bit pissed off at us. And Mother Nature was pissed off in this movie because she said, okay, I'm just going to flatten this entire town, even though the town did absolutely nothing. It was just the lights of an Idaho northern town. Hey, nah, we're near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which has some pretty good locales. It's the lights of a northern Idaho. Okay, enough old song references. I apologize. Let's get to the review. Also written by Lisa Bohem, who wrote Daylight and The Darkest Hour. Okay, so at least she knew disaster movies. And she also knew Daylight. Oh, this is going well. If you ever saw The Darkest Hour, I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry that you saw The Darkest Hour, because it was kind of absolutely shit. Daylight certainly wasn't bad. It was back when Sylvester Stallone sort of made sense. But anyway, we have Linda Hamilton in this. Linda Hamilton, who was still kind of riding the wave of Terminator, and Terminator 2 mainly, because Terminator came out in 1984, where everybody got on the floor and did the dinosaur. But Linda Hamilton was in some pretty good movies, and then recently has been in, she was recently in one of the worst, Terminator sequels that you could possibly imagine, and that's certainly saying something. Then we just have a few other actors, though it is kind of sad. The character that played Paul, Charles Hallahan, Hallahan, actually did pass away a number of months after this movie came out. I believe a heart attack. And he was like 60 some odd years old, 50, 60 years old. But, so that's a little bit sad. But in this movie, basically, Harry Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, is, he studies volcanic stuff and figures out, holy shit, this mountain's going to possibly blow. And nobody will listen to him. Well, some people will, but not the right people until it's too goddamn late. They need to keep the beaches open. Wait, no, that would be a volcanic shark. I now demand to see volcano sharks. I demand to see it. If the asylum has not made it, I insist they make it. Please, I will watch the shit out of it, so will other people. So, actually in the beginning, Pierce Brosnan in a crew, they're in Colombia somewhere, and him and his girlfriend, Marianne, or wife, I'm not actually totally sure on the relationship, because we don't get that far. Him, her, and their crew try to get out of there. Not the DK crew. It's not DK Donkey Kong. It's just Harry Dalton. Okay, sorry. Enough song references. I promise. No more. Pinky swear. Probably should have done this off camera. But they're trying to escape. They can't see the goddamn road. I can't see the fucking road. And actually, they can't swear that much because it is PG-13. Because we got to get all those people in this theater. We got to get as many people in there as possible. And what happens is we will volcanic rock you, and a rock just drops right through the roof and hits her in the head and everything. And being that she is a minor character, she has to die to give Harry a redemption storyline. You know, it's funny, actually. I remember when this movie came out in theaters, there was a 2-screenplex in town, and I actually watched it. I watched it 3 times because at the time I was just doing anything to get out of the house. And since Marysville didn't really end up growing until, well, we got a bigger theater the year after, and now it's a town of 70,000 people, and you can't get anywhere within 30 minutes or a fucking hour. Seriously, I work 9 miles from my house, and it sometimes takes me 45 minutes to get home. Anyway, enough about that. Dante's Peak was quite entertaining. And it's also really, really hilarious in the second half. I shouldn't laugh at a lot of the shit that happens in this movie, but I'm gonna. I'm not going to recount the entire plot because there's really not much of a plot. Harry and Rachel do fall for each other, obviously, because they're the two, most well-known actors here, and it's very obvious. Sparks are going to fly! Sparks are going to fly! Romances always work out well for Linda Hamilton and, like Terminator and other movies that I'm sure exist where her lovers end up either getting injured or dead. I'm sure she is just snake bitch. She's probably a witch, burn her. Now that I'm done accusing Linda Hamilton of being a witch for no goddamn reason, let's get back to this movie. So, in the town of Dante's Peak, the fictitious town where actually it is, exterior shots and other shots were filmed in Wallace, Idaho, which I've been to Wallace, Idaho. It was a long time ago. Nice area. I mean, it was a little, there really wasn't all that much. Well, there were a few things, like a lot of stuff that you would get in Idaho. Let's just say Idaho bleeds red. I will say that much right there. But Harry is on vacation, is pulled from his vacation by Paul and says, hey, go out and take care of this. Go out and check out this town of Dante's Peak and check out this seismic activity and this stuff and everything. And Harry ends up finding out there's some weird shit going on. Also, 2 people are skinny dipping in the hot springs and end up getting fried by magma flow. It's hilarious. At least to me it is. And there is the grandmother Ruth, who's actually the step-grandmother. She, her son ran off and left Linda Hamilton's character along with her 2 kids. I know I've seen the kids and other stuff, and I just can't place them right now, and it actually was bothering me. I mean, I even remember looking at the IMDb's and thinking, where have I seen them before? But, moving on from that, Ruth lives way up on the mountain. The kids still like her, and Rachel's a little bit apprehensive. She doesn't mean to be a bitch, but she's upset because, because Ruth's son left them, which I could understand that, but maybe don't blame the grandmother, because it's not like the grandmother said that. Not like she said, son, go up and take care of yourself and do that and be like a little wood nymph. I don't know why she's Irish all of a sudden when she's clearly not. But Dante's Peak was voted the second most, the second, most livable place in the United States. Wait, how'd they write that down? The second most desirable place to live. I can English properly. With a population of under 20,000. Literally under 10,000, because I think it was like 7,400 people. They could have said under 10,000 people. Why'd they have to inflate it like that? I don't know why I went on about that. So, he studies the seismic activity, and they discover the dead bodies in the hot springs. Dead animals start popping up because sulfuric acid and everything, all the stuff in sulfuric gases. Mother Nature unleashing her toxic gases all over the place. When I unleash toxic gas, it just means I had good pizza. So, now that that image is in your head, let's get back to this. Rachel also works in a cafe because she's the mayor, but apparently being the mayor in a town of 7,400 people doesn't pay very much, so she has a cafe/convenience store, which seemingly is the only place in town that has drinks and everything. Yet, nobody's there. At one point, they go up in a helicopter, well, Harry and co., and they find out some stuff, and, well, man, that mid-90s computer technology, when the monitors were as big as, well, the Great Khali's head. And Harry tells Rachel about 4 years ago, Marianne was killed, all this stuff and everything, but a romance blossoms because young love conquers all. Middle-aged love conquers all. Some kind of love conquers all, I guess, eventually. Kinda. At one point they find this spider legs thing because, sorry, I'm not home right now. I'm walking spider legs down a mountain path to get some research taken care of, and then we'll, leave a message. We will call you back, as if it wasn't obvious what song I was trying to do and butchered horribly. And the blast basically would take out the entire town in a minute. Well, oh shit. Maybe we shouldn't have built a town right near an active volcano, even though it's not active, but it's gonna get active, because otherwise it wouldn't be a disaster movie. So Terry, the one guy that decided to kick the goddamn robot one too many times, kicks it, and that ticks off Mother Nature that doesn't like seeing robotics get kicked. Rocks fall, break his leg, he gets carried out, and they both get carried out in a helicopter. The robot is just there, seemingly stuck forever. They also took off this giant location beacon thing that's called Elf. Elf on a Shelf. It technically is on a shelf for a while, so it actually does make sense. I'm going to roll with it. And then Harry's basically saying, Paul, I felt these quakes. Paul's like, no, we can't alert the town. We can't do this. We can't have this town meeting. How dare you call this town meeting? You're going to go on vacation after this. Even though I just pulled you off of vacation. A little bit of inconsistency here. I think Paul's not a very good boss. He's also very much dead by the end of the movie. And they're going to evacuate the town now, eventually. Please, remain calm. Help me, Spock, help me. Because the quake starts happening and all this stuff starts happening. The kids decide in their infinite wisdom, because the grandmother will not get off the mountain, we're going to drive up there. That kid, the boy, is maybe 12 years old and can drive a car. And he already drives better than half the people in Washington. A lot of Washington state plates in this movie, by the way. I think some of it was filmed near Mount Baker, Mount Rainier. I think it was Mount Baker. It was filmed in some area. And let me tell you right now, that's a haul from Wallace, Idaho to Mount Baker. It ain't an easy drive. It's like almost 3 hours from me to Mount Baker. So, we see that it's exploding like Pompeii. And if you close your... Okay, sorry, I did that already. Everything starts blowing. All this crap it's just blowing up and everything. All this volcanic ash. And all these "we will rock you" and all this stuff's falling down. So Paul eventually says, Harry, for what it's worth, I was wrong and you were right. That's okay, don't worry. It's not like you're going to live through the movie. What? Nothing, Paul, nothing. I'll see you later. So the kids go to get Grandma. So Harry and Rachel go up to get Grandma, or go get the kids. Then They go up there, but they have to, the only bridge out of town is like, it's like this and everything, and then it's starting to have issues, so they got to go through the river. They got to go just around the river bend, through the river, and through the woods to Grandma's house. They go, hey. And they have a little snorkel on the thing, so the snorkel can pump the water out and everything, because everybody apparently needs to go river bending in their fucking SUV. A car ends up bumping into him and everything. A Cadillac, and you ought to know by now what happens, because if you haven't seen this movie, I'm going to tell you. And if you haven't figured out what's happening in this movie, and you haven't, and by now, I don't really know what to tell you, because the movie's been out for 25 fucking years. So it is kind of funny. They manage to just get out of the river after getting stuck. The window gets busted, but alas, it's totally fine. Except I think the window was reformed afterwards, because none of the volcanic ash and none of the stuff managed to get in the car that I noticed. And cut back to the town. The helicopter pilot that was taking them up there for their research is now taking cash to get people out of there. If any ash gets in the engine, he's had it. So Paul's trying to stop him, and then the helicopter crashes right in front of Rachel and Harry. I don't know why that was hilarious to me, but it was. So, the grandma will not get off the mountain. But, then eventually decides to get off the mountain. Then her dog just vanishes. The dog just says, nah, fuck this movie, I'm out of here. Runs off, and they're in the cabin. And then suddenly they're like, okay, we gotta leave. We gotta start reflecting on these memories. And oh my god, it's a wood cabin, by the way. And somehow it was holding back this lava until just a convenient moment where, boop, decided to do that. And then they're escaping. There's lava flowing down the goddamn... This lava all flows really, really quickly. I mean, obviously, it is fucking lava. That's what it's supposed to do. But somehow they didn't notice that lava was surrounding and heating the house to about 1,000,000 fucking degrees. So they get in a boat. While the dog just runs off somewhere. I don't know where the hell the dog went. A little more on that later. And they get in the river. It's sulfuric acid and it's eating through the boat. They're almost there. The motor gets destroyed. And they can't quite get there, and they're trying to wrap stuff around their hands to get through there. It's not melting through the clothes. Not melting through the clothes are wrapped around their hands, mind you. Keep that in mind. Oh, we're not going to make it. They're almost going to make it. They're literally within a few feet of it. And the old woman, Ruth, gets in the sulfuric acid river, just jumps in, which should have killed her within 10 seconds. And this is so hilarious. She's like, just pulling the thing. It rots away the dock just after they get off of it. And Ruth, who should have bones for legs, it should have eaten through her bones. It was eating through metal. I don't know if you know anything about physics, but the human anatomy is not as strong as metal. How did she survive? How? And why was this so hilarious? Why was I laughing? Oh, right, I'm a terrible person. And the sun is rising. The National Guard finally gets there. Ruth somehow survived through the night. How? Space magic. Movie magic. I don't fucking know. Why was this so funny? I was laughing my goddamn ass off because I'm like, this shouldn't be funny. It shouldn't be, but it's so bat-shittingly stupid, which isn't even a phrase. Except now. And then the ice caves that are located somewhere in, well, I mean, actually there are ice caves located all over, but there are actually ice caves that are shut down now, outside of Granite Falls. You literally have to go east from me, then go north a little bit, and then go back west. You have to basically almost make a complete circle to get to a location you could get through if they had this mountain road open, but they don't because the landslide could bring it down. But anyway, ice caves were melting, and the weather started getting rough because a volcano was erupting. And, well, when running away from a volcano, grab the first car you can, even if somebody is wanting to get it, which nobody was, because everybody was either evacuated and or dead or both. And they hotwired it, and they steal it, and they managed to get away. Okay, so then we get a big old dose of bridge, just a bridge. Just right there. Just the only bridge outside of town or going out of town. And it's flooded because, oh damn, the water's coming. If you'll see no beavers because we're not in Oregon. It's not the Oregon State Beavers. Which is a mascot, of course, I react to with the good taste and maturity everybody has come to expect from me. But Paul basically ends up getting killed and does the Wilhelm scream. I don't know why that made me laugh. Okay, so they're driving along and everything. They see lava going over. They see lava that's forming, or hardening and everything because it's stopping. And they hear the dog over all this stuff. The dog's alive. It's covered in ash, but it's alive. They're getting over this stuff. They're getting over this lava. And they get the dog. Only one shot to get. They get the dog. How did the dog survive? I mean, I love animals. How did the dog survive? Who the hell knows? It's like Independence Day, how the dog managed to somehow escape a massive, mile-wide explosion. Whatever. Pet magic. So they somehow managed to have the one truck in the world where the tires don't melt when they touch lava. They're touching lava, and they're not melting. They're in lava for seconds on end, a minute on end. They're not melting. Or, I mean, they melt enough, but they don't melt enough to the point where they're melting through the goddamn truck. But they managed to escape, and they managed to get back to town and everything. The dog is remarkably calm, by the way, while the volcano explodes, and it does all this, and does a smoke along, and does all that and everything, and had to get close right there. It has to do all this. Just keeps billowing and billowing and billowing at everybody. And then eventually what happens is, earlier in the movie, the son ends up, has to be called out from a mine. And apparently he uses it as a hideout. So they have this little tracking thing with them, the NASA tracking thing, and they manage to race the truck into the goddamn mine. They get stuck, but everybody's okay except Harry, who forgot the thing conveniently and then gets trapped in the goddamn truck, but activates it, and then everybody at the headquarters, the makeshift headquarters, part of his crew, not named Paul because Paul's dead. Paul is a dead man. We don't miss him. But my claustrophobia was kicking in while I watched this the first time and when I watched this, because I don't like tight spaces. That's why I'll never go cave diving. That's also why women hate me. That's another story entirely. Basically what ends up happening is they get the beacon activated. Harry finds out Paul's dead. Miss him. And also Rachel and the kids and the dog are fine. And there you go. Everybody's happy. That's it. That's it. That's Dante's Peak, ladies and gentlemen. Is it fun? Yes, it is. It gets absolutely ridiculous in the second half, but it doesn't get any more ridiculous than Volcano, which is another retro review I will do in a week or two, possibly in a month. We will see. I got a lot of projects I'm taking care of. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Wetland. I'll see you soon.